So I think what I'm hearing you say is that Logan Toyer has officially volunteered to have his head shaved on the Saturday night at the New Zealand Indoor Offroad Nationals.
Yeah,
no problem.
Yeah, that's another RC Race Media exclusive right there.
Always with the scoops.
We're going racing on the sound of the tone.
Dead locked together. First to the left, then to the right. Right on down the inside. He's through. He's through.
Welcome to the Let's Race RC studio. Tonight we have the team from RC Race Media, Scott Guyett, our Ted Gravitz of RC, and the people who make him look good and sound good, Tony Firth and Matt Seckold. Welcome to the channel, gents.
Cheers.
Thanks, DMaz. Thanks for having us. You're a very brave man having 3 media people on your podcast.
Yeah, I know. I was packing it earlier, just to be fair.
Can I ask one question before we start? What is the record for the longest podcast you've recorded so far?
Longest that I've posted is an hour and a half. Longest recorded was with Casey Dawson, which was
no surprise,
2 hours and 45 minutes.
Oh, challenge accepted.
Of course, it was Casey.
Yeah.
Hang on. However, prior to that, his dad, we broke it down into 3 parts, would have been about 9 hours.
Wow.
And most of it ended up being cut out because it wasn't family friendly. So,
again, no surprises.
Yeah. The Dawsons like to talk about themselves a lot. I don't know how they find the time, and I was beginning to start to think that it was like an episode of No Name Podcast.
Yeah, you probably got a fair ways to go to match it with those guys.
Yeah, I've just got to... No, I won't say what I'm thinking. Anyway, so before we get into talking about RC Race Media, let's talk about and ask a few questions about yourselves and what you do in your personal life outside of RC. What is the thing that you do for your day job? And do you have any other hobbies apart from RC? Because I'm making a massive assumption here, because you've all got little bits of RC cars and race cars lying around everywhere. You obviously race a bit from time to time. If you're anything like me, it's probably once a year, because you're always busy doing other things. So we'll leave the RC side of it. What's the go-to for you guys when you're not at work, and also what you do for a job, and your family and hobbies, and you can go in any order you like. First one up.
All right, I'll go. I'm the talker of the team. Yeah, mate, I love racing RC, obviously have for a long time, but mountain biking's my other passion, hobby, interest. So any given Saturday morning, I'm usually out on the trails with a bunch of other ex or current RC racers. We go ride bikes around the hills, and then we go to the bakery afterwards and tell stories about how good we are, how many track records we set that morning. And usually some RC stories in the mix. So yeah, mountain biking is the go-to for me. Work-wise, I work for a church in Australia, the Uniting Church. We support about 200 local churches around the state of Queensland. So I've got a group of people I work with that send out and support local churches. So I've been working in and around this organisation for 20-odd years or so. Yeah, that's me. 3 young adult children, none of who have any interest in RC cars at all, much to my sadness. I've failed. Yeah.
Mine were the same. They tried it for about 5 minutes, and then it's not a computer game, Dad. We're not interested.
Knife through the heart.
Yeah, it is. So I've just recently become a grandfather, so there's still hope. There is still hope that I will be able to get a controller into his little hand sooner rather than later. We'll just see.
Sometimes it just skips a generation, so you might be onto something there.
Yeah. Well, I'm hoping so.
Start early, mate. Don't wait for too long. There's no reason a 1-year-old can't hold a transmitter. Let's get going. Don't wait.
No. Yes, I do believe a certain Mr. Toyer used to be like that, coming down to Hamilton Club days, while his big brother was out racing and trying to have a turn.
That was exactly what I got my son Tate for his first birthday, was a re-release to Mia Haunted. So yeah,
Nice.
started young.
Tony
Yeah.
Firth, you're the man.
All right. And seeing you're speaking there, Tony, so what is it that you do outside of the RC? What's your go-to?
My go-to outside of RC, if you check with my wife, she'll probably say more RC, and then a bit more RC on top of that. RC is
right.
pretty much my world. I'm fortunate to be part of a club. We race every Tuesday night. RC is a big part of my weekly routine. I got married with 2 kids who have been in and out of RC, and I'm work from home as I don't know, it's hard to explain what I do, but let's call it a digital solutions architect.
We've got time. Go through it.
Yeah.
A digital solutions architect. I thought that was just a phrase people used on LinkedIn. I didn't know it was a real thing.
Well, I just Googled it
not.
before we had this.
So in other words, you're like Chandler off Friends. Nobody knows what you do.
No, I've tried to explain it a few times, and Matt still doesn't have a clue. So
Oh, good
People
stuff.
ask me what he does. Or like, I don't know, man.
Something to do with computers? Is it?
yeah, something to do with computers and design and coding and coming up with solutions, data, APIs. Yeah.
So are you a consultant or are you employed by a company?
Employed by a company. Yeah, work for my uncle's company. So used to have an office pre-COVID, and then during COVID we all started working from home, and now we've got a team spread around the world, different parts, all working remotely. So yeah.
And outside of RC, do you have any other hobbies? I mean, apart from the family and trying to hide all your RC spending from your wife?
No, it's pretty much family time. Probably the other activity I'd like to do a bit more of is golf. My mum's actually having her intake into golf after many, many years. So she's retired and decided to take up golf. And so she's at me every second week to come to the driving range with her or give her a lesson about something. So
Oh,
golf's
nice.
creeping back in, which is great.
Can you
Cool.
beat your mum?
Yeah, I can beat my mum.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just checking. Should you beat your mum? No. That's
No.
elder abuse.
What's your handicap, Tony?
I don't have an official one anymore, but my best, I got down to 9.
Oof.
Ooh,
Okay, we're not playing
Single
golf.
digits.
Yeah.
Shooter McGavin.
That was a long time ago.
We tried, Daryl, last year to play golf where were we? In the Philippines, after the Philippine Masters. We tried to go play golf, but all the golf courses were closed. So we were ended up at an indoor driving range.
Virtual.
Virtual. And Tony spanked us all in the 3 holes we played. So no surprise to anyone that,
All right. So moving on to Matt, what do you do for a day job, and what's your other curricular activities outside of your work and RC life?
Day job. There's lots of different answers to that, I suppose, over the years. But I guess the main one consistent thing I've done for kind of over around 20 years is event production, live event production. Music and other events. Kind of started out with the whole music thing, as you can see behind me there. A few guitars on a rack. Spent a lot of years playing in bands and all that sort of stuff, but the production's the thing that paid the bills, mainly. But yeah, kind of since COVID, the arts all took a big hit, and I haven't done it as much. Just kind of relegated to a bit of a few cover shows here and there with some friends. But I guess my other main sort of hobby, I call it a hobby now at this point, is just started a YouTube channel with a mate of mine, working on cars, and we will venture into kind of tech stuff, repairing and building computer stuff as well. But at the moment, it's started out with building our own cars, our projects that have been racking up for years and years that we haven't touched, we've neglected. So give each other a bit of motivation and turn a camera on and see if people sort of enjoy it. I'm sort of more on the production side of that again. I do the filming and the editing mostly. Yeah, that's taking up kind of most of my time outside of RC and work. So I guess that's the main hobby at the moment.
Do you want to give your channel a bit of a free plug?
Yeah.
Why the hell not? That's what we do as creators, right? Plug at any opportunity. It's called Couple of Tools. Us being the tools. That's good. That's the sort of reaction we were hoping for. So, this is kind of market research, testing with a captive audience. So, yeah, that works well.
That's a good name. So you can find their link in the description below. So when you get on there, go and check it out and give them a like, comment, and definitely subscribe to them. I've had a bit of a watch of the first couple of episodes, and it is good content. It's pretty good. Probably the production value is probably a little bit better than from where I sit, but hey.
Look, I've done a lot of production over the years, but it's all been live stuff. The filming of and post editing stuff is still very new, so it's a bit sketchy in places. I even had some audio dramas with some microphones in a couple of the episodes, so it's definitely starting from the ground up. But
come on, Matt.
I know it hurts my soul when I was editing it and all the audio is crunchy.
I'm just so proud that I can say one of my friends is a professional content creator. That's how I'm introducing you from now on.
That sounds awful. Please don't do that.
No, I think that's what we're going to do.
Doesn't it start with only?
Only tools? No.
Next thing you'll be in a GT3 race car, a blue and white one somewhere.
Look, I wouldn't say no to that. I mean, Will Davison's having a go at the moment, so why not me next? I don't know.
Well, that's right. Yeah. So
No
you mentioned about the music. What genre of music do you like to play?
At heart, I'm a rocker. Anything rock and roll, rock adjacent. But I'll play pretty much anything that has instruments in it. I've done everything from one end of the spectrum being kind of acoustic pop rock to I played in filled in for a run of shows with a country pop trio of girls from here in Sydney, all the way up the other end of the spectrum to melodic death metal. And kind of everything in between. Honestly, it all has its place. It's all fun at different points of your career, and even instruments. I go between drums over here, bass and guitar, whatever's going, doesn't matter. It's all fun.
Melodic death metal. That would go well in a Sunday service, wouldn't it, Scott?
Yeah, I mean, sure, why not? I've never heard of melodic death metal. That's spun me out.
Tony's
My
heard
friend,
melodic
the
death metal.
Content creator who's a melodic death metal.
What was that? What was the
We've done a
band
fair
called?
few road trips up and down the east coast of Australia, and Tony's headbanged along in the car with me to some of the tunes. Yeah,
Pumpkin
Fair
Roast,
enough.
wasn't it?
yeah. He claims his favourite band's Pumpkin Roast. As far as I can tell, that band does not exist. I've never heard it. You Google search it, all you get is pictures of pumpkins. I don't know what he's thinking of. It's not a thing, man.
He's probably got that from Starbucks or something when they've misspelled his name or called him out wrong.
Yeah, he does stop for a lot of coffees. Yeah, that's probably what it is.
Or
if you need some intro music to your podcast, I got a few recordings,
A little
death
bit of
metal
melodic
recordings
death
that
metal.
might suit you.
Yeah. DMaz, he looks a lot like a melodic death metal fan. Look at him with his... Turn your hat around backwards, mate. Come on.
me? Or Tony?
No, you, DMaz.
All right, then hang on.
Don't do it. Now he's got his headphones off, we can say whatever we like. That's how it works, right?
Now I kind of feel like a skater.
Yeah, look,
Should get my skateboard out and go rolling down the street and fall off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit more skater than melodic death metal. You need the long locks or the long beard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A beanie? Would a beanie do it?
This
black
beard
beanie?
here is 3 weeks in. So yeah, I'm not very good at the facial hair, and my last attempt at having a mullet, I was 19. So
Bring it back. It's never too late.
Well, we've been talking about that. I've actually been talking to Logan about it because he's done got a little bit of party in the front and the business in the front, the party going on in the back, and he shaved through the sides when we were down in Christchurch. And so I was going to challenge him to a mullet off, but he kind of went, "Oh, I don't know."
Those words shall never be spoken again. We will have no talk of mullet-offs.
That makes me feel a bit better.
That's not
Unless the
English.
mullet's coming off,
Yeah, that's right.
getting shaved off, then
That's not even
mullet
English.
off. But
Yeah. Oh, it might be a good cause for something like a Men's Health Week, or instead of doing Movember or something like that, we could do.
So I think what I'm hearing you say is that Logan Toyer has officially volunteered to have his head shaved on the Saturday night at the New Zealand Indoor Off-Road Nationals, or the Friday night at the banquet. I think that's what I just heard you say, mate.
I think we heard it here first, to be fair, Scott. I think we heard it here first.
Thanks,
it's
Logan. That's a great cause. I mean, that's wonderful. I'll chip in $10. Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, that's another RC Race Media exclusive right there.
always with the scoops.
I don't know how you do it, Scott.
Well, you just make things up. That's how we do it.
That's how
That is
we do
exactly how we do it. Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing like creating a little bit of clickbait to help things go along.
There's your headline right there. The Logan Toyer head shave. Yeah.
All right. Getting back to RC Race Media, you obviously all know each other pretty well. Where did you first meet?
Well,
My first memory of meeting Matt was at P.Anda, I think. Didn't you and your brother team up for a 2.4-hour Le Mans event?
we
Come out
did.
to Penrith?
I think maybe I'd seen you around before doing RC Racer chat, but that was probably the first proper meeting. We came up to Tony's club to try and win their annual endurance race they have out there, which is really cool because it's just cars of any class, pretty much.
Cool.
Scott, on the other hand, I didn't meet until the first ABC in Brisbane.
Yeah, maybe
Where we-
briefly at the Asian On-Road Champs at Brendale earlier that year. I don't know if I met Tony and
That's
Scotty
where we
there,
met,
but maybe I
yeah.
didn't meet you, Matt.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Sort of knew the name, there was a podcast, but don't think we actually met up there at Brendale. But the first actual proper introduction was at Pine Hills in the container down the bottom when we, our first gig together was when we first met. So,
Wow.
um,
So how did RC Race Media come about? Whose idea was it? And what was the seed or the genesis to create it?
I'll probably start. I'm going to blame Matt. It's all Matt's fault. But just to go back to when I first met Scott, I first met Scott's words probably in about 2001, reading Racing Lines magazines. So that's where the name Scott Guyatt first came on my radar. And then, of course, he did all the podcast stuff. So that was around the time I was getting into RC, early 2000s. And that's what, everyone waited for, was the monthly magazine. Then when that sort of stopped and that came to an end and there was nothing, that's where I sort of found motivation to start doing some videos. So I would just record some videos with chats with drivers at events I was at, and then I put it up on a channel called RC Racer Chat. And that was really just to fill that void that was, no more magazines, no event coverage. So I did that for a number of years. And then, Matt had an event. His club were hosting a state title. He wanted to do some live streaming of the event. And, he came out and approached me to say, can you do that RC Racer Chat stuff you do live on a live feed? And I'm like, sure, why not? Could be too hard. That was kind of where it started, wasn't it, Matt?
Famous last words.
yeah, that was the start. So I was running a club at the time. This one here, Sydney RC Car Club. My brother runs it now. I've stepped away from that, but we were hosting the state titles in what was it, 2022, I think. And having been out to Tony's club and seen what he did, we were hoping to get live RC out for our event, and we wanted Tony to come to his interviews, like he said. But yeah, we did actually manage to get Live RC out to Australia to cover our event, which was pretty awesome.
Wow.
I'm not sure if they've been to Australia before, but if they had, it was a long time ago. So it was the first time in a long time they'd had any coverage, anything to do with Australia at all. So that was pretty big. And yeah, it went really well with the interview stuff. And basically, Live RC sent out one guy. His name's Lucas, one of their camera guys, but man of many talents. He pretty much ran the whole thing by himself, and then would just throw to Tony for the interviews. And after seeing his setup and how kind of compact it was for them to get it over to Australia with, chatting with Tony, thinking, do you reckon we could do that? Cover some Australian events. So, and he's like, oh, yeah, maybe. And so I immediately went out and bought a camera. Didn't really wait for a response, just bought it. And he's like, okay, I guess we're doing that now. So we just kind of built it from there. Actually, I will add to that, though. In between my state titles happening and us getting Live RC out, Tony's club then also had a state titles that year. So me and a few of our club guys went out to give them a hand because on-road and off-road club, help each other out. And Tony managed to get Scotty Ernst out for that one. And so that was the first time I and a lot of people had met Scotty Ernst. And I had the pleasure of running Tony's live stream for that event, which was essentially just two webcams, one wide shot and one on one corner of the track, and I switched between those two cameras. But that also
the roaming camera and the interview.
Oh yeah, we did some interviews as well. Yeah. But that also meant that I spent the entire 2-day event in the truck with Scotty Ernst.
Wow.
And we got chatting. You're in there for 2 days. You got to chat about something, right? And so after a couple of days of back and forth, he said, I told him about our state titles, and he said, "Oh, do you want me to hit up Live RC for you, see if they'll come out?" And he did, and they did, and that's how that all happened. So if we go back, it's actually Scotty Ernst's fault that this all happened. I mean, really, if he hadn't hooked me up, we wouldn't have seen what they did and had aspirations to do it ourselves. So, yeah, that's kind of how it all went down, I think. And then
there's a bunch of trial events. PD&R became a bit of a testing ground on a Tuesday night. Matt would come out with whatever latest idea or camera he had, and we borrowed and scrambled and, just played with some gear and equipment and did a couple of Tuesday nights. I think we did a event at Whalen and finally kind of got a bit of a package together that was, robust and reliable. And I think by this time, Scotty had kind of heard about, what we're doing. And he said, well, can you stream the AOC event, his Asian On-Road Champs in Brisbane? That was kind of the first proper event, I guess you'd say we did.
Yeah, right in the deep end with that one, wasn't it?
Yeah. Went up to Brendale and covered that event. And then, Scott Guy was there. He saw a bit of that. And then from then on, I think he was like, hey, when are you coming to Brisbane next? Can I join? I want to play. Give me a go. So then, I think, was it the ABC year after that? You were
that same
involved
year.
in the team in a bit of that. And then, it's just snowballed from there.
Well, Scotty kind of got Scott in, I think, initially more to do the written stuff, the words, wasn't it? And then, one or two times we went to him on a famous Tony Firth pit walk, and we had a chat with Scott, and watching it back was like, why isn't this guy on camera more? And so we just started putting him on camera more, and now he is basically the face of it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool to see that happen, and quite quickly, and how professional your whole broadcast looks. I know I was remotely covering the New Zealand team over at the Worlds in Sydney, and I think, man, over that week, I can't think of how many hours you streamed and filled in. Many hours, but the level of what you guys are doing honestly rivals some motorsport events. I know you in Australia you've got Bleed Line TV, for example, which they probably operate in a similar form to how RC Race Media does. But your production value is a lot better than theirs, I think, in my eyes. And I'm not just saying that because you're sitting here looking at me on my computer screen.
I feel like it's partly that.
If you go back to a couple of my episodes or catching some of my live streams, I've mentioned it once or twice. Somebody actually asked in the comments on one of my live streams, "Am I getting paid by you guys?" And I said, "Well, no, not yet." There's always an angle. There's always an angle, isn't there? But yeah, I mean, just I don't know how, like, on those sections where you've got nothing happening, the rain delays and all that. Have you got anything written down in terms of notes to go with to fill an hour while you got a rain delay and what to ask people? I know you've done the last meeting at. Of the ABC, you're getting the drivers to draw the track or draw a tree or an elephant or a koala or whatever it was. Do you have anything else planned out for situations like that you just throw out there should something come up?
We were a little bit stuck at that race because I lost my voice on the Thursday, and so then we had all day Friday to try and fill with content, and I couldn't speak. So instead of, what we might have, teed up some long form interviews, and we were scrambling, and, Tony just has this wonderful kind of collection of fun ideas and just a great patter that, so he went, all right, let's try this latest game I've come up with. And so that really was that's kind of how that happened. But Tony's done heaps of those things over the years of, kind of just having some fun with people in the pits, and has a really wonderful way of just engaging them and inviting them into a bit of fun. So
I can tell you in real time how that one came about. Sorry, Tony.
Tony, you just wait. We'll just talk about it.
I was going to do a run to Kmart because we go on to Brisbane, where it's supposed to be one of the hottest parts of Australia, and it was freezing cold, so I had no warm weather gear, and we were up in the wind on the driver's stand, just getting a barrage of wind. So I, in the rain delay, had gone to Kmart to get some warm clothes. Tony goes, "Oh, while you're there, do you see if you can grab a whiteboard and a blindfold?" Like, what?
Okay.
All right. And I found a blindfold and a whiteboard. It came back, and then that's what he did.
Yeah, that's perfect.
That's how that came. Yep.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, to answer your question, nothing written down. Usually it's just ideas, brainstorming in the back of my mind, fermenting away for weeks or months. But, yeah, I love a good train wreck, and, the less serious walkabouts than what Scott does. I'm happy to do the ones about how well you know your mate. And, it started a bit from the RC Racer chat. I did, like a rapid fire questions kind of thing. So, yeah, I love that kind of off the cuff, just roll with it. And, when it goes badly, that's even better.
Tony's also nearly ended a marriage.
I did too.
Won't ask how.
It's a good story.
Go on.
Was there a blindfold and a whiteboard involved?
Or just the blindfold?
Where was that? Was that?
No,
that was the
Bike
Worlds, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, up at Brendale. So
just recently.
Yeah. So the Bike Worlds was not a massive event. Obviously, it's largely European based, so not a lot of them came out to Australia for Worlds, but it was still just a great group of a lot of high percentage of internationals, and I don't think any of them had ever been to a bike event where they had media coverage ever, because we couldn't find any footage to kind of go off and gauge what we needed to do. So they just loved having us there and walking around and asking questions and post-race interviews, and they just loved it. And it was really cool for us because, we've been to a lot of events and people are starting to get used to it, but to get back to this raw sort of people that hadn't experienced it before was great. And anyway, Tony's walking around doing his how well do you know your mate section, two people, and you ask them the same question, ask what their favorite thing is or whatever. And there was a couple there from, I think, Austria. I'm going to go with Austria. And so he does the usual questions. The wife answered the husband, and the husband's like answered and get it wrong every time. Every time she get it right, he'd get it wrong. And could see her. She keeps looking at him like, what was that answer? And Tony's like, okay, we're starting to get a bit off track here. We don't want to end a marriage, so we'll just leave it there. And then she goes, well, we're not actually married. We're some sort of like de facto relationship they have in Austria. So they're actually that and not married. And like, okay, this is live on air. Okay, wrap it up. Next one.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm just out and about. We've got the headsets. So Matt's sort of talking to me in the ear, communicating. It's like, abort, let's get it.
Yeah, Ostspezi. It's a mix of Fanta and Coca-Cola.
Wow, never heard of that before. Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. What about Karen's favourite drink?
Favorite ginger beer? So root beer. What's
No, not root beer.
Not
Root beer is
but
ugly.
The small stuff that we get in Austria that you get very, very seldom.
I'm going to stop here because you're not going very well, and I don't want to end your marriage. So
We're actually not married.
Oh, not married?
We're having, I don't know, in German we call it wilde Ehe. So it's like a wild marriage for 25 years now. So, yeah, it's quite going well.
Wonderful. Well, yeah, thank you for coming and having fun and enjoying our country. And
It's very beautiful. We love it very much here, yeah.
how you...
Kept stepping, just getting worse and worse. Every question is fantastic. You can go watch it. Go watch the Bike World's live stream, and it's in there.
okay. I'll go back and have a look at that. And we'll also drop that link in the comments below as well. So for those following along at home, you can have a look at that as well. And let us know what you think of that. Do you think Tony ruined that relationship permanently, or do you think they came back from it?
No, they were very good sports. It was actually fine. We went out for dinner after the event and had a chat to them, and they were fine. It was just it was great TV is what it was.
Okay, so I'll just step back into the RC world just for a moment of actual RC racing. Do any of you have any sort of claim to fame with your racing career? National titles, going to the Worlds as a racer? Has any of you three got anything like that under your belt, or are you just prolific clubbies?
Just three slow old men. That's this? I was very serious about RC back in the dim dark ages of the kind of 90s, and I did a lot of very serious racing, and we travelled all around Australia and raced at national titles and the Australian equivalent of the Race of Champions in those days, of the Reedy Race of Champions, happened here, and so I did race a lot in a lot of those things. In Australia, our second tier events are our state championship events, so I've won a couple of those, and just my saddest moment actually came when I lost a national title by countback to a very good friend of mine who I ride mountain bikes with now, Steve Perry, and there's not a Saturday morning goes by when he doesn't remind me about the 1993 Nationals and the time that he was able to take the win and I lost on a countback. So I'm reminded of it every Saturday. Every time I see Steve, the conversation comes up. Oh, remember Illawarra, Scott? What a great event that was. Yeah, so that's it.
Who needs enemies when you got friends like that, eh?
Exactly right.
Kind of shows the quality of the racing driver, where they're equally as good a racing driver as they are smack talker and opening up old wounds. And
that is Steve. Yeah, unfortunately, he's also better than me on a mountain bike, so I can't. There's nothing I can do. I'm just like, all right, fair enough.
Just going off on a slight tangent here. So this will be your fourth trip to New Zealand for you guys?
Yeah, for RC coverage, for covering events.
Have you guys been out here before? Out just in your daily lives? Have you come to New Zealand before, prior?
I've been a couple times. So I came to did the classic motorhome tour of the South Island in 2001. Managed to crash and bust my knee skiing at somewhere Coronet Peak, I think we were, out of Queenstown.
Oh, yeah.
But had a great trip. Yeah, great trip. And then I came back in, I think it's about 2013 13 maybe, with my brother who was turning 40, and we rode the Lake Taupo bicycle event classic, around Lake Taupo in a day, just us and 7,000 other people, and played a bit of golf, and went to Rotorua, and tried to kill ourselves on the go-karts and all
The
of that
luge.
stuff. So
Yep.
yeah, I've been a couple of times on just traveling and love the place.
You haven't done any mountain biking here?
Not yet. No, that is an oversight. When I travel to go mountain biking, it's very hard not to go to Tasmania. So every time I think I'll go somewhere to go mountain biking, we always end up back in Tassie at Blue Derby and Maydena, which are just extraordinary. But I know there's great mountain biking in Tassie, and in New Zealand, and I do need to bring a bike with me to one of these events and then stay on for a week and go ride some stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Now I lost my train of thought of where we're up to.
Had anyone else been to New Zealand, Matt, Tony? I'll just take over. You're just right, Daz.
Okay.
Just relax. Just relax.
I'll just kick back.
We got this. Yeah.
Yeah, I came over a bunch of times when I was younger. My old next door neighbour, her husband was from New Zealand, but they're actually like a second set of parents to me. He was into motorsport. He's sort of the one I claim has got a big influence on me, getting me into motorsport. So yeah, when they came and moved to New Zealand, the North Island, I came over a bunch of times, like almost felt like twice a year, and I'd just stay with them between school holidays and uni holidays, and just go and work, hang out with them at their warehouse, and then go to the motorsport track on the weekend. He took me out to one of the world rallies that was on in New Zealand, which was an incredible experience. I knew all the local, farms and all the locals to take us into these amazing vantage points to watch the World Rally Championship. So that's probably, my favourite memories.
So you're basically a Kiwi, Tony. I mean, that's essentially that. You're essentially a Kiwi.
Yeah, I guess a tiny bit.
Yeah.
Just a wee bit.
Oh, sweet as.
Sure, bro.
Fish and chips.
How about you, Matt? You're right, Daz. Just relax. We got this. Matt, you been to New Zealand before?
No, my first trip to New Zealand was, in fact, the first ABC we went over. I don't know how it took me so long, but that was the first time over. Did make the most of that one, though. So my brother Pete and I stayed on after the ABC event and went and did some fun stuff. One of the locals, Richard Harwood, loaned us a vehicle, and we went and stayed down in Rotorua for a week, and they spent some time jumping off stuff and throwing ourselves down hills. And Pete took that a bit too literally. We went mountain biking, and he went over the handlebars and knocked himself out cold. So
out the front door.
I didn't actually get to go luging because we were checking out the Rotorua emergency room instead. So he still owes me a luge trip, but every year we go back. I actually just love the place. Not been that much or seen that much, but every time I'm there, the people are awesome, and the weather is just perfect for me. I hate the Aussie heat. So, love it over there. Very keen to come back and see a little bit more of it for this upcoming event. And hopefully the ABC runs for many, many years so I can keep going.
Yeah. So, I've done a little bit of New Zealand myself as well.
Really?
As a part-timer.
Well done, Daz. Yeah, tell us about that. Yeah, been there just once or twice?
Just once or twice. I've been to all three islands just once or twice.
What?
You didn't realise there's a third island. It's called Stewart Island.
So three islands now. When did you get that?
The West
Always
Island.
had it.
We call it Australia. It's the West Island. Yeah.
Oh, no, we're not going down that track. The Stewart Island's right at the bottom of the South Island. It's great oysters from down there in the strait in between. It's called Bluff, and world's best oysters come from there. So if you ever
world's best, New Zealand's best.
World's best.
Okay.
World's best. We have lots of world's best things. Weirdly, our animals over here don't try and want to kill you like in your country. Well, the sheep might want to try and run you down if you annoy them.
You haven't lived till your life's in danger every day, mate.
I'm married, so yeah. It's the same thing, isn't it?
We can get Tony to do an interview with you and your wife and see if we can, do something about that. It'll be fine.
How well do you know your mate coming on?
Yeah, there you go. It's a whole new series.
Amnesia all of a sudden. Okay, getting back on track.
What, did we distract you? I did just want to say, on the luge thing, this is my advice for anyone who goes to Rotorua or Queenstown to do the luge. Only do 3 runs, because every time you go down, the behaviour gets worse and worse and worse and more dangerous. And if you do 4 runs, somebody will die. That's my advice. So
that's what happened with the mountain biking. It was on our last
only
run.
do 3, just 3 runs down the luge.
We went up a level, and that's when he crashed.
Yeah, exactly. 3 runs in the luge, you'll survive. That's it. Go to the pub or go get a burger. Don't do a 4th run, someone will die. That is how it works. Is that right? Is that right, Daryl? That's how it works?
Yep, you've got that nailed down very well.
The behaviour just gets worse and worse. Yeah.
Yeah, and the skin comes off quite easily no matter what you're wearing on those things. So while we're talking about travelling, obviously with RC Race Media, you guys are travelling around quite a bit together, and on the odd occasion having to slum in some less than ideal accommodation fronts where you might have to share a room or something like that. Is there amongst the team any pet peeves that you have?
No
pet peeves. You're all squeaky clean and don't annoy each other.
There are no stories to be told. Move on. Next question.
And no one snores excessively or anything. Scott's probably got a beef with me because I got him sick on the was it TRTC run?
I actually have gotten sick on a lot of trips. Every time we go to Sydney for the PDNR Winter Champs, I get sick. Matt and I we were both crook at TRTC in Thailand earlier this year. Yeah, I think I'm going to have to wear a mask. Too many interviews, too many face-to-face interviews with people breathing on each other.
Yeah, but the TRTC one specifically, that was my bad.
That was unfortunate.
I got some sort of man flu on the flight over and was rooming with Scott. So by the end of the event, he was probably not quite as bad as I was, but I was pretty cooked there for a couple of days.
I think for me, one of the most enjoyable parts of the work that we do together, and it's the 3 of us, but often we're doing these trips with Scotty and Tate, Tony's son Tate might be there shooting photos, and what goes on behind the scenes. We're all wearing headsets the whole time, so we're all in communications with each other. And I've several times thought, I really want to record, some of what goes on the headsets that nobody else gets to hear, but it's really funny. Yeah, release it as a podcast episode. There's a real practical side to that. We're feeding information backwards and forwards, and Tony and Matt are making all the production calls and the camera switching, and we're trying to feed information to Scotty. That he might not be able to. He can't see everything, so we're feeding him bits and pieces. But also when I'm in the middle of an interview, people are saying ridiculous things in my ears, trying to make me laugh, and, or standing. So there's all that kind of, it's a bit of shenanigans and a bit of fun, but it's actually really enjoyable part of the work that we do together. And I'm yet to crack on camera, but I'm sure I will, because there's been some bad behavior. The Worlds in particular, there was quite some attempts to stir things up, but I'm going to go real serious for a minute and just say that, one of the things I've loved the most about working with these guys, and it's really RC Race Media, is Tony and Matt, and I just get to come along to some events, has been that as a group of people, as a team of people, there's this commitment and willingness to learn new things and try new things and do new things. So almost every race we go to, somebody will say, hey, I've been thinking, what if we tried this? And mostly those things work out pretty good. And, I think if you look at our coverage over the last 3 years, you can see a lot of evolution of, what we're doing. But it's that commitment to say to each other, let's have a crack at this, and then to debrief honestly afterwards and say, the Sunday night dinner kind of at the end of any event, there's a whole lot of what worked well, what didn't. And so there's a lot of fun, there's a lot of laughter, but there's a lot of intentionality about developing the coverage and trying to tell the story. That's ultimately what we're here to do, is to tell the story of an event, but also to tell the long story of RC, year on year on year. And so I love working with these guys for that reason, that there's this openness to have a crack and to learn something new and do something different every time we do an event. And sometimes we don't know what that is until halfway through the day when, I'll say something stupid like, why don't I go stand out on the track during the Nitro A-Main warm-up and do a live preview of the event? And these guys will go, sure, that sounds like a good idea. Let's try that.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Next to the big double or something like that.
Yeah. Why not? Why not take Caleb Noble's Nitro buggy to my left ear hole? No. So there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun stories, and but there's real serious behind the scenes for me. That's what I love about what we do. Sorry to get all serious on you there, Daz, but big ups to Tony and Matt for always being willing to kind of go, let's have a shot at improving what we do and the way we do it every time we go and do an event. Yeah.
Very nice words. Well said, Scott.
Well, that right there is why we love having Scott as part of it. We'd have him at every event if we could, but that sort of eloquent, articulate summary of things.
Of how awesome Matt is. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's why we keep him around, yep.
Yeah. I couldn't have come up with something as good as that. Mine would have been punctuated by a few choice words and other bits and pieces and the wrong innuendo being inserted in the wrong place, making things even more difficult for myself. But yeah,
that sounds like the back talk on the comms.
Yeah. Mine's normally like that. Well, we're live though.
It was. I can't remember what it was now. Something I said on camera at. Gee, was it at Pine Hills or was it in Malaysia? I said something that just came out completely wrong and was just like innuendo central. And I was like, I pride myself on trying to be appropriate and respectful, but whatever I said, I can't remember what it was now, but something just came out completely the wrong way. And we're like,
I think I know what
people were laughing in my ears, and I'm going, oh, well, we're just going to soldier on here. We're just going to keep going.
That's
whatever
I'm sure that was
Oops,
in Malaysia. Yep.
There we go.
Speaking of technical soldering on, there
he is there.
There we go.
Just roll with it, guys. It's all good.
Yeah.
This is normally what you do in normal broadcasts, isn't it? If something happens, you just keep going.
Look at that Shoemaker Cat PB. What a beautiful buggy that is. Hey?
It is.
So good.
Did you ever do the part 2 on the build of that, of the actual build?
Not on video. I did a written story. I need to work with some people who are good at video editing because it's not my strength.
I don't know where you'll ever find them from.
Sorry, say something.
I think these guys hate.
You just broke up then,
getting
Scott.
messages from me because I'm like, can
you
guys just do this for me? No.
The answer is usually not no.
No, that's one thing we do have a problem with. We all say yes to everything all the time.
That is true.
Yeah.
We've totally ruined this interview for you.
Yeah.
So tell us how you got into RC, Daryl. If there's anyone interviewed you on your own podcast yet? Have we got the Daryl story?
I have a funny feeling this might be the first. So how I kicked off in RC, I was a bit of a wayward teenager, and hopefully nothing's giving that away right now.
Was there melodic death metal involved in your wayward teenage years?
Well, I did have a mullet, so maybe it was pretty close to it. And my dad thought that it might be a good idea for me to have a hobby, and so he suggested there used to be a mail order company here, which was based in Auckland. I'm from down in the Bay of Plenty called Tauranga, is where I grew up.
Nodding like I know where that is. I have no idea where that is, but yeah.
Just wing it.
Yeah.
And so he brought home this cutout of this mail order RC shop called Bill Lecky's, which was, they used to have a track up here in Auckland, and it was for a Tamiya Hornet. And I thought, far out, he's going to buy it for me. No. Give us your pocket money. You're going to save for it. You're going to do all these extra jobs. You're going to pay for it, and then you'll be allowed to get one. So that took about 6 months. So then I brought one of those, built it up, started driving around in the backyard, went to the local club, and then it was off from there. Got a job at the local toy shop, being the local expert for the shop. Went through, school, college, that sort of thing. Kept racing right up until I met my wife. And then we decided to have children, so I stopped for a little while. And then I came back to RC racing about 2006, I think, and got right into on-road. Really fell in love with that because it was cool fun, and I really liked the discipline of trying to hit that apex all the time and keep your lap speed up and keep the corner speed, and really enjoyed that. And then we moved here to Auckland, and during that time I thought it'd be a really good idea to start importing and distributing RC products, because I thought that was a good way to make a lot of money.
It's a good way to turn a large fortune into a small fortune. Yeah.
So but I sold that off during COVID, actually. Kenley Brown from 17RC brought it off me.
Yep.
Thanks for the money, Kenley. And
we'll have a little private chat with Kenley about that to get the actual other side of the story while we're over there. May or may not happen live on air. Can't make any promises.
No.
Did you swindle him a bit?
Yeah.
Never. No, all above board. I think actually he got the better end of the deal than I did. Just no.
We'll check what he thinks back to compare answers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll timestamp this
how
now.
well do you know your mate?
Yeah. We'll
How
come
well
back
do
to
you know
that.
your business transaction?
Yeah.
Yeah. What did you really pay for? And at that stage, I was involved in a local club, North Harbour Radio Control Car Club, which is an on-road track. We got involved in doing an event called what was called the NZIOC, so New Zealand Indoor Off-Road Championship. So we decided we'd do indoor off-road on carpet at an event that used to run at during the winter called the CRC Speed Show. So it involved in amongst with other things inside a big massive hall. And the first year they ran that, which was back in 2014, I had my hobby business then, and I was a sponsor, so I had a display, and I was just kind of looking after customers and that sort of thing. And we were kind of outside of the main hall, and in the main hall where the racing was, you could hear the racing and the computer calling stuff, and there was nothing else. I was going, oh, that's kind of boring for a spectator. It's just the computer. Nobody really knows what's going on. And I'd seen a little bit of what Scotty Ernst had been doing, and I thought, probably won't sound just like him, but I think I'll give it a go. So, and so the following year, I did the emceeing for the NZIOC, did that for the consecutive 3 or 4 years, and then started to get inquiries from other clubs to come and help them out and do their events, and then how I got onto it, but then I brought a camera, and then I brought other things, and
off you went.
Familiar story.
Yeah.
And then, again, starting with a small fortune, it's now even smaller. So kids, when you're watching this is where all your inheritance has gone. And there's no coming back from it.
Your kids are not going to watch this, are they? Mine won't be. That's for sure.
I think when it pops up, they do the obligatory, thumbs up, and they don't watch it.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, kids, I'm on a podcast. I'll say to my kids, yeah, great, Dad. Good on you.
Yeah.
Don't care.
Don't care. Aren't you a little old for that? You're like, so it's a niche.
They certainly won't get this far into it. I mean, what are we, 50 minutes or something? They're not making it this far. You can say whatever you want about your kids.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you've been down that rabbit hole of YouTube of trying to make it work. My words.
I'm about to.
I was going to say my words of wisdom for you, Matt, is just do what you do. Don't chase the algorithm, because you end up going on a silly track and it just does your head in.
No, we're definitely, both of us are in emphatic agreement that we're not going to. We might be content creators, but we're not chasing the algorithm. We might, where it's easy and, kind of leans into what we do. We might kind of lean into the algorithm a bit, but yeah, definitely not going to go chase. Not going to go all Mr. Beast and just optimize every part of every video for the algorithm. It's just takes the soul out of it, I reckon.
Yeah. It definitely
It's
does.
still so random. It's still like, I don't know, it either changes or the goalpost move. Like
Yeah.
the most random videos that I've put up are the ones that take off. Like before the Winter Champs, I was sponsoring posts and boosting posts and trying to get it out there. I did one stupid reel of me spray painting a white line around the apex of one of the corners, and it just went nuts. Like it's nearly at 100,000 views or something. It's like, why? It makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know how it works. It just does what it does, and yeah, for me, it's a bit like what you guys were talking about earlier. For me, I'm just telling our little bit of our part of the world and RC, our story, our races, what they're doing, where they've come from, what they want to do with their lives, and that sort of thing, and plus getting a little bit of background about them as well, because most people like to get a little bit of their 5 minutes of fame and be seen somewhere and that sort of thing. So, and for me also as well, it's a learning thing. It's something outside of my day job, which is, it's just, I won't say can't be stressful, because sometimes it is when you have things go wrong and shit breaks and
Like Saturday
First
afternoon at
15
the
minutes of
Worlds,
today.
Matt.
yeah. First 15 minutes of today, about to go live stream at the Astro Masters 2 weekends ago, and because it was so cold, nothing wanted to work. So,
What? We don't need to hear that when we're about to fly to New Zealand and it's so cold. Is this venue air conditioned? This is what I need to know. Is the venue in Hamilton air conditioned? Is it going to be like a nice 18 degrees inside?
Oh, yeah. If you really believe that, yeah, it will be. Yeah.
Well, we dealt with the opposite at the Worlds last year. We were in scorching heat. Oh, it wasn't too bad, I suppose, but
it was okay.
We were in a big metal container. And yeah, there was one day where it got too much for the computer and the CPU cooked and everything started lagging. We had to kill the stream, restart, cool it down, and all that.
Yeah,
but yeah, that was stressful at the Worlds. You don't want that to happen at the biggest event you've ever done, but it did.
Yeah, halfway through forward of qualifying. Yeah.
It would have been devastating if it was during the finals or something like that. That would have been like, oof.
You wouldn't be talking to us if it was that.
No.
That
would have been the end
of
a glorious, short-lived RC media career.
Yep.
Yeah. That was amazing. Like, talking before about being on the headsets, and we were all on headsets then. And what I think is worth saying is that, Tony and Matt had this extraordinary vision for the World Champs coverage and about really elevating what we do. And they brought together this incredible team of people that, and most of them you never saw on camera, like, who were in the background switching sound and, doing tech stuff and camera work. And it was incredible. And when that PC went down, like, I have no technical skill. So I just sat outside and kept watching the racing, kept track of the event and what was happening, but listening to these gigantic brains trying to problem solve and troubleshoot and like resurrect a dead PC and get the stream back up and running in, what felt like 3 hours, but was about 20 minutes or whatever it was, and that was an extraordinary thing to listen to. And a testament to the team that particularly, for that particular event, Tony and Matt had put together. I won't go naming people because I'll forget people, but the skills that were in the group for that event was unbelievable. And it was such a privilege to be a part of the event as a whole and to, and to work with these guys on that event and then to sit outside the shed listening while I wish I'd recorded that 20 minutes of conversation going on. Yeah. Speaking about X-rated and not or R-rated and not being able to be broadcast. But there are some moments like that are horrible, but they're also memorable. And particularly in that case, the guys sorted it out and we got back up and running. And and then they kind of continued to get things improved through the day. And apart from that missing 20 minutes, most of the viewers would have no idea that just, what was going on in the background and the skills that were there to kind of make it fly. Yeah, it was cool. Horrible, but cool.
Yeah, so I think we remember that moment for very different reasons, Scott.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. Yeah.
That was, I don't look back at that one very fondly, but yeah, we said we did get it back up and running reasonably quickly and smoothly and didn't have the same issue again. So took some measures to stop it happening a second time. Was that during two-wheel or four-wheel? I can't remember.
I'm thinking it was four-wheel qualifying, but I could be wrong. Yeah. That event, it blurs, doesn't it? It was...
Yeah, it's just 6 days or 3 and 3 days of just go. Yeah.
I think I did actually work it out once that we did something over 250 interviews of different types over the 6 days. And,
yeah, right.
we were on air for 10, 11 hours a day for 6 days.
Yeah.
And
that's a lot of talking.
It was epic.
Yeah.
I actually think so. I'm gonna tell another story from the Worlds. You're right, Dale. Just relax. It'll only take
Put
20
your feet
minutes.
up. I'm just gonna put the chug on. I won't be a sec. Talk amongst yourselves.
What I do. The other thing I love about what these guys are trying to do and what we're trying to do together is that we have been really careful, really deliberate to say we're not just covering a race. We're not just filming the race, but we're trying to produce a show. And so and that leads us to do the kinds of things that we do on camera, but off camera as well. And one of the things that happened at that Worlds which was one of the most incredible things I've seen around an RC track, was the driver's introduction for the four-wheel drive finals. If you watched that, you might recall it. If you were there, you might remember it. But, Tony and Matt had been talking about this and then talking with Scotty, and came up with this concept of introducing the drivers, which happens at every big race. And normally they get introduced, walk up on the driver's stand. But we had this grandstand with, 300-400 people in it. And the idea that emerged from Tony and Matt and with Scotty as well was to introduce the drivers and have them walk past this grandstand and, and then stop, and we do a little interview, and then they'd kind of get on with the race. And it was like spine-tingling. Like, it was so cool to be a part of it.
Give it up for Ni-Cad Orlowski. One of the biggest names in the world, Michael, ready to do some damage from the back of the grid right now?
Yeah, will be fun. Starting 9, so can't go much worse.
All the very best.
Thank you.
All right, give it up for Ni-Cad Orlowski, ladies and gentlemen. We are going up to our 8th qualifier. Here's driving an X-Ray chassis. Driving for X-Ray, RC America, Motive RC, Hobbywing, Hot Race, One Up Racing, Nitro Pro, Hootie, Trackside Hobbies and Raceway, 920 Design, Colors by Crappie, and Gravity RC. From the United States, starting in P8, Chase Lemieux. Chase Lemieux looking pretty happy to be here. Second trip to Australia. How good to be in the final?
It's awesome. I mean, first time in the A-Main final at the FMR race, so I'm pumped.
Go get him.
So cool to be a part of, and that, to help trying to elevate a toy car race into something special and a show. And so that, that's one of the mindsets, I guess, that, we're trying to bring to our work. And I'll say we, because we do this together, but particularly, Tony and Matt having that vision to say, let's not just elevate our coverage, but the whole event. So that whole four-wheel drive finals day, was just elevated because of that introduction. And then we did the same thing at TITC this year, and now we're seeing that happen all around the world. It just happened at the Euros on the weekend. They're introducing the drivers, and so that, that brainchild of let's elevate this event and turn it into a show. What I will say is that 99% of the kudos for that World Championship goes to the club. The hosts were incredible, but we got to play a little part alongside them in making it special. And I love that we're trying to make not just film a race, but actually produce a show that is enjoyable to watch. And and we're always trying to add things to it. And that Worlds was pretty cool to be a part of. Okay, I'll stop now. I could go on and on and on.
It's good to reminisce on it because I highly doubt that anything is we're going to be able to do anything like that ever again. I know we've talked about, Tony, that it just kind of all came together because, you know, the track's 15 minutes from my house. Tony's a bit further out, but it just gave us the ability to take it to that level, being so close. And, you know, we've been asked about doing some worlds since overseas, and there's no way we can do it again. Everyone that we had, we can't, you know, trying to take everybody with us that was part of it. There was so many people in the background of that one. We had a crew of, I think, 9 main people, and then maybe 3 or 4 others, like
floaters. Yeah.
Nick, who's he was our sound guy, did all the audio for the weekend, had his 2 boys, Will and Finn. They were subbing in and out on cameras. Will would jump up to give me a break on the main follow camera, and then Finn would be on the roaming camera for Scott, or just subbing in and out while everyone else had breaks, because, you know, pointing a camera for 10 hours a day doesn't sound that hard, but I tell you it is.
Yeah,
And
gets tiring.
yeah, and just brain power, like it's like racing in every single race. You got to be focused on not just who you point at, but who like what's happening in the race, who's where, what's the story, and
What's the story?
yeah, and following Scott around with a gimbal all day as well. You know, he's so energetic, just trying to keep up with him.
Yeah,
Takes it out of you.
Energetic is not a word that's used to describe me very often.
Yeah, it's just we don't think we'll actually be able to do it again unless there's another Worlds here that is really local to us. Because the infrastructure we had in place as well, we could not travel with. Just wouldn't happen. Lots of loaner gear, people coming together and helping us with stuff, and yeah, it really was a special thing that got put together. And I said that includes the event. The event itself that we covered was amazing. We're just sending it out into the world so other people can see it, but yeah, everything just culminated so perfectly, perfect storm, and probably will never happen again.
I think it's cool the way that over the last, I guess I've noticed it most over the last 3 or 4 years we've been doing this, but that there's a consciousness now in event organisers to say, it's not enough just to build a good racetrack and to be well organised, but actually sharing the story of the race with both the RC community and the wider communities. It's in the mindset now of event organisers, but it's also in the mindset of racers. And so, it's very rare now that we'll point a camera at someone and stick a microphone in their face and they're not willing to talk to us. That people are kind of learning, that this is an integral part of the sport now, that, we're trying to share the story, and people are learning to be professional in their own presentation and learning to, tell the story of their own race when we stick a microphone, as I say, in front of their face. And even the presentation of venues and events, that taking that visual presentation really seriously, I think is elevated visually just in the last 3 or 4 years. Maybe I just notice it more, I don't know, but it feels like the whole industry, and not just in Australia and New Zealand, but everywhere, there's a whole lot more seriousness taken. It's taken a lot more seriously to present this sport really well, to tell the story really well, and people are kind of buying into that and enjoying it. And we can't do what we do without event organisers having that mindset, and without racers being willing to say, yeah, I'll have a chat with you. I've got a story to tell. I've got a funny answer to your question, or I'll put a blindfold on and, draw a pine tree, or whatever it might be. Like people have kind of learned that this is part of what we do now. And I think that's really cool, to see how much it's changed, even just in the time we've been doing it since 2023. Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Cool. All right. So
just tell me to shut up, mate. Like, honestly, that's
no. Story. You're. I don't know what it is.
He wants his record.
It's only an hour. Like, we've only been going for an hour. Come on. Are we going to talk about the indoor nationals?
We can do.
What is this? Tell us about this event that we're coming to.
So some carpet rolled out on a tennis court indoors. There you go.
But this is not the first time a nationals has been run indoors on carpet, but it's been a long time and maybe it's the first kind of event of this scope.
So,
Is that right?
We'll wind it back to last our governing body, the NZRCA, which I'll put the other hat on. I'm the president of. Voted in that the 1/10 scale off-road buggy drivers decided that there's quite a lot of indoor racing going across New Zealand in the winter months because of the weather, and you get guaranteed racing when you race indoors and carpet and that sort of thing. Those drivers felt they wanted a national event, and the rule book from last year said you could race wherever, because we've done indoor national events beforehand. One of the events where Mitch on the mic came to with his mum before she passed away was an indoor event, but it was dirt. So they'd filled this little area up and put a track in there. It was really cool. But the carpet guys, and if I've got this wrong, let me know, decided that...
Let Daryl know, not us. We didn't get this wrong. It's Daryl, D-A-R-E-L. Yeah.
No, you got my name wrong, but that's okay. I've been called plenty of other things in my life, so that's all right.
One of the nicer things.
Darren. Let Darren know. D-A-R-E-N. Yeah.
Go there. So basically what the indoor guys were saying is they wanted to have their own event because they felt the guys who raced on dirt predominantly would race on dirt, and the guys who raced on carpet predominantly raced on carpet. Only the top guys would cross over and do both. So like the Toyas and that sort of thing would go and race both. So even though the rules at the time said didn't matter, you just put your club in for the event, and if you get it, you get it, and you run it however you like. So they put in for a rule change. The rule change passed, and this is the very first event of having an official indoor carpet event.
Okay.
Like you know, we've done NZIOC in the past. We ran that for 4 or 5 years in Auckland. And yeah, same thing, was on carpet. So not new, but it's the inaugural event of an actual NZRCA sanctioned carpet event.
Yeah, so a new era, so to speak, in that sense.
Yeah,
I got to say, like we've been fortunate to be over at the Asian Buggy Champs race at Counties 3 to 3 years, but I'm really excited to get to meet, and we've met so many cool people at that event. We've been really welcomed, and we've loved the hospitality, and we've met heaps of great people at Counties that have come from all over New Zealand. But to get to this event and meet maybe some different people in a different part of the hobby in New Zealand, something that we're really looking forward to. Plus we don't have to worry about the weather and the rain and all of that. But to cameras getting dirty, there'll be no dust.
No dust
amazing.
to blow out of your PC when you're finished.
Yeah, you don't have to be cleaning dust out of your ears for days afterwards. But yeah, to see this aspect of Kiwi racing, and obviously there's some of the same names and the people that we know really well. The Toys you've spoken about, Casey Dawson, people like that, Jonathan Galuccio, Jackson Coombs, all the guys that, we've met. But then there's other names that'll be new to us that, we'll get to meet and see this other aspect of, and do our best to share the story and make the show that shares this event with not only New Zealand, but people, over the ditch and around the world to see what's going on indoors on carpet in New Zealand.
Yeah. I mean, it'll probably, I think looking at the entry list, it's a good cross section of our drivers. So you're going to get everything from some people turning up to their very first event to obviously the seasoned ones. There are some very, very fast youngsters in amongst that lot. There's 2 from the South Island. There's Will Sloan, who is a very, very quick young man. And then there's his younger brother. He's honestly no bigger than a grasshopper. And he loves being in front of the camera. So if you can find him, he will talk.
Excellent.
He's very well articulated. And then there's the Warner family, Dad, Thomas, Vincent, and I've forgotten the youngest son's name. They're also getting very quick, doing a lot of racing around New Zealand, Auckland, both off-road and on-road. So they are starting to show a good turn of speed. And then there's Casey Hawkins, who's another young charger who's coming on through. He's sort of been picked up under the TLR banner through our local distributor of that brand, HOT. And he, this year alone, has gotten so fast. He is really a hard and fast racer. His dad's a laugh. You want to go and find Michael and have a chat with him. He's straight up and down. He'll tell it like it really is. So he'll give you some good content. I just trying to think.
Do we need a beep button? Are we going to need a beep or a 10-second dump or something? No, we'll be right. It'll be fine.
Keep it raw.
Raw, yeah. Yep.
Just have your apology ready.
Yep.
Sorry
and then
to
you
all
got
the viewers. Yes, it's not how we do it in
This is
Australia.
network television.
you'll only get demonetized. You'll be right. And then there's the likes of, you're going to have Anthony Mara there, who's there or thereabouts. I don't know if you've met Shane Gollop and Scott Brownhill.
Met Scott. Definitely have met Scott. Shane, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, they both work for HOT. Shane is what I'd call an evergreen in stock. He's always in the A main. He's always there, needling away. Just he keeps saying he's getting slower as he's getting older, but I don't know. I think he's one of these guys. He just kind of, you think he's having a bad run, and you're watching him race, and you're going, oh, not a good run, and then bang, he's in the A final. You go, how did you do that? Yeah, so there's some good races from club level who will put a good challenge and on any given day can throw a challenge down to the likes of Logan and Dylan and Jackson. For us, I guess our unknown is the internationals that are coming across. Like, we know some of them by name, but we don't know what they're like. So, as I've got written up for the post for this podcast when it comes out, where I'm previewing the event, we've got our internationals coming over where, with the Australian guys, they don't run on carpet, do you? You're all on dirt.
Pretty much, but Jared Bent is coming over, and his background South African. He used to run a lot of carpet in South Africa, so he will be very quick on carpet.
Yeah, he's been out before. He raced at the Waikato Champs back in 2024. They had what they call a pro invitational class.
Yeah, right.
He came out and just dominated, just absolutely sent it.
Yeah, he'll be fast.
Yeah,
sounds about right. Yep.
And then you've got Nicholas Lee coming as well, and not better known as an on-road racer, but has been doing some off-road and some carpet over there in Asia, and he's consummate professional. He will be fast. He'll be really hard to beat. So to see in mod those two in particular go up against the fast Kiwi boys is, I'm super excited. Can't wait for finals, but even just to see how qualifying unfolds and all through Saturday, that's going to be. And then in stock, the two Australians that I know of, but in particular, young Lockie Williams, who's been super quick in the last 12 months, and Michael Stone, who's just so experienced and, has won national titles in Australia in several different categories, on-road and off-road. And
Stoney adapts very well to pretty much any condition. And Lockie Williams is basically junior Jared Ment.
Yeah, he's a gun.
He's Jared's mentor, so he's not that little anymore, but
Lockie Williams v. Dylan Toyer. That's the battle we were looking forward to in stock. See how that one unfolds.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to be great. It's going to be a great event. We're super excited to get over there next week and, and just see it all unfold.
I can't believe it's next week already.
I know.
When said in the chat, when you guys get here next week, like, oh, wow, okay, better prepare for that a bit.
I was actually thinking, next week? No, it's the week. And it's like, no, it is next week.
No.
Bugger.
Yeah. A week from tomorrow, we're on the plane, and I've got to go. Do I need like thermal long johns and stuff? How cold is it in the shed? Tell me. Be true. Be truthful with me. In this big shed we're going to be in, how cold's it going to be?
I've only been in it in the summer.
Oh, no, actually, sorry, I tell a lie. I did Waikato Champs last year. Depending on the weather outside, it could be anything from mild to freezing cold.
So what I'm hearing you say is it's not air conditioned.
No. Sorry.
Okay. Gloves, beanie. Can we
Pretty
get RC
sure
Race
air
Media
conditioning
beanies by
Air
next week?
conditioning was in our contract. I'm pretty sure it was part of our agreement. Yeah.
Well,
you know those heaters you got for ABC Brisbane? Can you put them in the luggage?
Bring him.
You know what?
Bring him over. It's already packed.
There
It's
you
ready
go.
to go.
Got it right here. It's on my feet.
Yeah, I was going to say what we could do is we could just open all the doors and just let the wind blow through, and you'll be
Please.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Way to welcome the Australians. That's it.
No. Look, the long range weather forecast for next week's looking pretty good. So it will be chilly in the morning. But we should get if the sun comes out, it'll warm up quite nicely.
Can you say chilly again, just for me?
Chilly.
It'll be chilly.
Chully.
Like less than
Save
socks.
this for the interviews, Scott.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use all your A-grade material
That's
here.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I've got. I've got nothing left.
Okay, so I've got a couple of things left before we sign off. Now, you were talking about asking your best mates things. I used to do early on in my channel when I was doing roaming through the pits. I'd do, because it was in 2025, I'd do a section called 5 for 25. So 5 questions in 25 seconds, answer the whole lot.
Okay.
First thing that comes to mind. What I'm going to propose, well, what we're going to do today is I'm going to call it the fastest finger. That's relating to the throttle finger.
Buzzer?
Yeah, the buzzer's just you yelling out, though. So we've got some quick fire questions. There's 5 of them. The first 4, it's the first one to answer. First one to call out their name gets it. The final one is individual to each of you.
Is there a prize?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. When you get to New Zealand, there will be a prize for the winner.
Okay, it's a prize for the winner, not a prize for the loser. It's okay. So we want to win.
Well, I think to point out we're not competitive in any way between the 3 of us.
I'm just sitting up straight in my chair.
And,
yeah.
Okay.
That's not what happened on the racetrack at your club last night, Tony.
I was going to say, or do I have to go down the traditional method of today and making sure that everyone has got a participation certificate? Do we want one of those?
No.
No.
I mean, I do want a certificate. I do want a T-shirt that says I was on Let's Race RC. Do you have guest T-shirt? No.
Oh, I can organise that for you.
No. It's fine. Okay.
All right. Here we go. 4 fastest finger. Question number 1. And this is around off-road racing, particularly 1/8 scale Nitro. Control tyres, yes or no, and why?
Scott, yes. Yes, because every major motorsport in the world, on the planet, understands that if you don't control tyres, then the results are just kind of up crazy all over the place. So Formula One, World Rally Championship, Supercars, NASCAR, even in America, it's, they understand you control tyres. Even in America. And we only have to look at the 8-scale electric Euros, last week the e-buggy Euros, to see that when you have an open tyre situation, how crazy it can be. There's just a resistance in some parts of the 8-scale industry to it. It makes no sense to me at all. I'm not talking about club racing and even a race like the Asian Buggy Champs, it probably, that's a whole lot of logistics we wouldn't want to do. But for sanctioned events, national championships, world championships, control tyre every single day in 8-scale off-road. But now, how do we know if that was the right answer? If I got it right, just because I got in first.
You got in first.
Maybe I got it wrong.
First.
Who knows?
But no wrong answers.
Well, I feel like for the sake of the podcast, we want Scott to win because he's going to give the best answer. I couldn't have come up with that. It's been like, yep, next one.
It's just like, just get ready, Matt, and then just let God take it.
Yeah.
Now we need...
didn't get it again. Go, Scott.
We need the counter-argument. There is a counter-argument, but the counter-argument doesn't stack up to me to the positives of... and we've seen it in every other category,
Yeah. Yeah, we've had many debates around this.
with the likes of Shane O'Connor and so forth, saying, you know, why don't you put in for, you know, control tires, and you just go around in this perpetual cycle of the reasons why not to, which are very small in terms of what the gain is for if you do. And so, yeah, it's kind of it'll
most of the argument against it is always seems sort of rather selfish to me, if I could say it like that. That, you know, whoever's got the sponsors and wants to run their tires, you know, like, what other argument really is there? Apart from you know, having options, but if it's the one tire, you don't need the options. Everyone's the same. I don't know. Is there any other reasons not to do it?
To play devil's advocate, you know, the reasons not to do it are logistics and event, you know, expenses for the event organizer to organize and buy and hold all the tires, all that kind of stuff. If you do it in that kind of sense, the argument around 8 scale in particular that I've heard trotted out is, you know, around the way that the track changes so much, and that, you know, will the same tire work for a 5-minute qualifier on Thursday and for a 45-minute main on Sunday afternoon? That now I don't think that argument stacks up, but that is an argument that's made. And then the argument about tyre manufacturers who invest in the sport and who send people to these world championships. And, you know, if Scott's RC Tyres is not the control tyre provider for the worlds, why would I pay for, you know, my 2 drivers, Tony and Matt, to fly to the other side of the world to? So there's some of the counter arguments. But I think, you know, for me, for world championships and for, you know, like I say, in Australia, just the nationals probably, the positives outweigh those perceived negatives. But I'm not the president of my national association, Daryl. So there's nothing, you know. Well, let's New Zealand maybe lead the world here and control tyre for the nationals. It's probably too late for this year, but 2027, come on.
Yeah, it is too late for this year, but yeah, we could definitely look for next year. I'm always looking for, you know, anything where in terms of racing it makes it more exciting, more appealing. You know, doing like any other form of motorsport, you set your car up to the tyre and you set your car up to the track conditions. And then if that changes, you make a change. It's pretty rudimental. It's the same thing. You know, you're saying World Rally Championship, you know, their track changes, their runs that they do change so much over the space of however many cars are going over it but they still run a control tyre. And it's just like, well,
don't they? Maybe I've lied.
No, they do. They do.
I
think in the Australian one they're running Pirellis or something. Here I don't think they do it, or it's sponsored by MRF, I think. So there'll be some sort of tie in there somewhere.
Anyway, if you don't like that opinion, just feel free to write to Daryl@letsracerc.com. Yeah, you can take it up with Daryl. He's responsible for his guests' opinions.
Don't forget to buy me a coffee while you're at it.
Yeah,
and that'll make it less painful.
Yeah, get in there.
Thoughts and opinions of his guests do reflect his his stance.
Exactly. All right, on to question number 2.
Yeah, that's
right. Favorite discipline: electric or nitro?
Scott.
Go, Matt.
I'm going to go electric. I've always been an electric driver. I have dabbled in the nitro, but overall, I mean, it can't be right or wrong. It's my opinions, which was my favorite, wasn't it? So, yep. I will preface that with saying I do actually really enjoy the nitro side. Not as much the driving, but I really do like the pitting and the strategic side of it. I did a lot of pitting for Pete with his Nitro 8-scale buggy, and we had some really cool interactions in terms of strategy with other teams and drivers, and it's really satisfying when you get one up in pit lane as a pit man.
Sounds like you just changed your answer to me.
No, but I'll still go back to electric because I do not own a nitro car. I've got about 8 electric ones, and any day of the week I don't have the time or the patience to be rebuilding nitro stuff all the time. I will firmly, that's what I started with, electric, and that's what I'm going to stick with, electric.
All right, final answer. Lock it in, Eddie. Tony, what's your fave, electric or nitro?
Nitro all the way. Yeah, same as Matt. I started with nitro. Love everything about it. The noise, the sound, the smell, the longer races. Always nitro for me. Even though I probably race more electric cars now than nitro cars, but yeah, always got a soft spot for nitro. Can't beat it. An 8-scale pan
smell,
car,
Tony. Maybe it's
full
the
noise.
smell.
Yeah, you can't smell, so
I can't smell
why
it,
you don't get it.
Maybe that'll get me over the line, but no.
There you go.
And for yourself, Scott, what's your preference?
I have two answers. One, two.
Of course you do.
Yeah. Everyone just sit back and relax. All right. This will only take 20 minutes. To race, I race electric, most of the time I race electric. It's simple, it's easy, it's fast. They're faster than nitro. The technology's amazing. They're cool. Like, it's amazing. I have done a bit of nitro and I love it. Like, I love driving them. I love the long finals. There's something really special about that. 45 minutes, or I did an hour final once and, almost couldn't walk off the driver's stand at the end of it. That's very cool. But they smell and they're noisy, and I don't, and you have to work on them. And I hate wrenching. So I hate wrenching, and so I can't do nitro. But on the flip side, to watch nitro buggy, 8-scale nitro buggy, in a long final, and we've been at some really special races, Philippine Masters, places like that, and to watch those long finals is unreal. So yeah, I'm like, as a racer, I'm gonna go electric because I've grown up doing it, but I really enjoy it, and I just can't stand the wrenching. So I'm out as far as nitro goes.
We'll add one thing to what you said about watching the nitro finals, and I don't know if I agree. Nitro finals, the long races are fantastic, but I've been noticing a lot more that there are not good long nitro finals recently. There's not many, and if there is, it's 1 or 2 cars, whereas you get a short, sharp, tightly packed 5 to 10 minute EP run, where it's just nose to tail the whole time. I don't know. I think I've swung the other way in the last few years off preferring to watch the electric races.
But when they're good, like, if we go, one of the best RC races ever, somebody's knocking on my door. Apologies if you can hear that. 2008 Nitro World Championships, Tsuchihara wins it. Like, that race was unbelievable. And the way that it played out over the whole hour, and, half an hour into it, Hara is absolutely nowhere. And the way that back half of that race unfolds, and the strategy, the pitting, there's a whole lot going on. But, then 3 days ago, 4-wheel drive leg 1 at the 10-scale Euros, maybe the best 10-scale off-road race of all time.
Isn't that crazy?
That race between Daniel Kobovic and Michael Orlovsky was...
There you go.
Mind blowing.
One in each.
Yeah. So there's
that's sort of what I kind of feel like, those older legacy races, Nitro ones. I hadn't actually seen that Nitro final until I went back to do the research to edit together that video we did on Hara's lost car.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, I think we have that up on our YouTube or something.
Yeah, it's on our channel. Yeah, that was a great piece. Yeah.
I'll
filmed
pop that in the description.
Yeah, cool. We filmed that.
Getting a really long description.
Sorry, I'll stop talking about things.
Sorry, man. Keep going.
Yeah, I went back to. I had to do the edit for that, put it all together, and I hadn't actually seen the race. So they were talking about, well, Scotty in particular was talking about certain things that happened in the race. So I'm like, all right, before I edit this, I'm just going to watch the race and see how it happened, and then pick out the important bits and pieces and add them in as kind of B-roll and stuff. So yeah, I did watch that race back, and so it's so good, good,
incredible. Go find it. 2008.
What I was saying before, it's more just recently, last few years, it just seems, I don't know, the electric racing just seems to be a whole lot better. Like you're saying, the Euros one the other day was amazing, and we've seen even some of the world's finals that we did here in Australia, they were fantastic races, and just there seems to be more of them consistently now. I think, but if anybody does want to disagree and post up some links for some more amazing Nitro races, I'll happily watch them.
Well, it's just probability, right? You've got 3 A main final leagues compared to 1 longer Nitro. So just based on sheer probability, you're going to have more races.
It's same
better.
With enduro racing, like how often does the 24-hour Le Mans end up with a 1-2 across the line, It's just a lot longer race, a lot more, those tiny little speed differentials stack up over a lot of time. So it just, it's hard to make them closer without people finishing laps down, but it's just inherent in the type of racing it is, I suppose.
We should come back and visit this conversation after the Worlds in America.
Yeah.
And see what we think.
Hopefully it's not hopefully not a repeat of the World's warm-up where, young Mr. Ongaro just drives away out front. That'd be the worst.
All right. We'll move along to question
Are we still doing these 5 questions? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is rapid fire, isn't it?
What, rapid
25
fire?
seconds.
12? 25 seconds for the whole.
We're only 3 seconds in. It's just what we call the weather waffle that's going on afterwards, but that's okay.
It's 5 for 25 minutes. That's what this is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, question number 3. True vintage or re-release?
Scott.
Oh, you spoke first, Tony. That means you have to answer.
I passed it. No, I passed it. I this is not my scene. I mean, I had a Tamiya Hornet when I was 7.
All right.
And pass it over.
Well, Scott's the vintage expert, but I do have, actually, you got to just jump off camera for a sec.
Please do. Yeah. Yeah.
You can actually see it over here. I'm just going to go grab it. Where is it? On a mirror. Somewhere here.
We can't see what you're looking at.
No,
it's too dark.
There's an actual mirror there.
You can just see it in the mirror.
I thought that was another room behind you. Look at that.
No.
Yeah.
What is this, Matt? What is this? What have you got here?
There's a question for you, Scott. What is this?
It's a rally car.
Some kind of rally car. HPI rally car?
Probably see.
Yeah.
There it is. HPI.
Yep.
Peugeot 206.
RS4 Rally. So I'm going to say true vintage to that. Granted, they're ridiculously expensive now and they're hard to find, but this is the first car that I ever raced. It wasn't my first hobby grade car. It was the first hobby grade car I ever put on a track. It's a rally car, but I put it on an on-road track. And I dismantled it many years ago and it's long gone, but I just found one and it arrived 2 days ago. And I got this from Japan.
So good.
Thankfully, it wasn't super expensive because I don't think the guy in Japan knew what they're worth now. Because if you can find a brand new kit of one of these, they're over $1,000 Australian. But I got this for about $250.
That's $4,000 New Zealand, Daryl, for you, just to
might
do the
be
translation.
8 or 7 or 8.
No.
Yeah, but
just remember that for your chalky milk there, Scott.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No $1.99 there.
We're going to see a couple of tools. Is this going to appear on a couple of tools, Matt?
Will at some point. I've got a video idea where I go back through kind of my RC history and look at all the things that kind of led me to where I am in terms of RC. And this is one of them that I had to track down and get hold of again. But so when I open this up, and I have done with a couple of other more toy grade things that I've acquired as well, before I got in the hobby grade stuff, but I don't know if I'd get the same sort of thrill opening the box and pulling this out as I would if it was a re-release version. So I'm going to go true vintage on that part. I can sit here.
I'm going to say I reject the premise of the question. What a political answer. I could be isn't that what politicians say these days?
Yeah.
Because there's true vintage and there's re-release, but there's also neo vintage. The kind of, so I want to differentiate between those. So the true vintage being the actual original cars as they, that are now 40 years old or whatever it is that, people have found or kept or lovingly restored. Then the re-releases, and I want to talk about re-releases that have been true or pretty true to the original cars. So there are some companies that have been re-releasing cars that have been very true to the original. I'm an old Shoemaker guy, so I've built re-release versions of the Cougar 2 Works and the Cat 2000 just most recently, but Pro Cat, Top Boss Cat, all of those things. What Shoemaker have done with their re-releases is to produce cars that are as near as identical to the original cars as makes no difference. So when you build a Cougar 2 Works, all the same things that were wrong with the original car, all the same things that were frustrating about the original car are still frustrating with the re-release. It is exactly the same car as it was in 1992. That so for me, that kind of re-release, and a very few of the Team Associated cars have been a little bit like that. Kyosho had been a bit of a foot in both camps. They've been kind of original, but they've been modernizing drivetrains, and particularly in the four-wheel drive cars. So they've kind of modernized things a bit. To me, have been very good at them being kind of quite original. So for me, if I can track down, and while I hate wrenching, the delight with which I built a Cat 2000 for the first time since 1993 or 94, or whenever I last built one, that was so close to the original car as I couldn't tell a difference, was very cool. So for me, those kind of re-res that are true to the originals, I think they're awesome. When it comes to racing, I'm again a bit of a foot in both camps. I don't mind running modern electronics. I don't mind running modern tyre compounds, but I really don't like, throwing whole loads of modern tech on the cars in terms of things like shock absorbers and, modernizing drivetrains and all of that kind of stuff. So my own vintage club here in Brisbane, Chargers RC, shout out to the crew, build a purpose-built vintage track. We get about 100 cars at an average clubby. We have a big vintage muster coming up in a few weeks with about 350, 400 cars. And they've taken the approach of saying, the cars should be run on the chassis side as close to the original as is reasonable. So, if you could show up with your 13mm big bore shocks at Chargers, you get poo-pooed. Whereas, we're going to see the race over in Vegas. Incredible race, cool race, amazing. Would love to go. But those cars that people are going to run are so modernized that, they're almost not anything like it. So I'm very happy to run a re-re, but I will, and this is the approach I've taken with my cars, the cars I've built, is that I will only put option parts on them that were available at the, originally. So the Cat 2000, for example, there's a new slipper clutch, center adjustable brake, like really fancy, amazing kind of tech. We couldn't run that in 1994, so I'm not running it in 2026. So that's, so really long answer to a really short question. I'm okay with re-res if they're in the spirit of the original cars. I'll stop now.
So we'll move on to question 4, which is a real quick one, and it is you've kind of touched on it with this. Lipo or Ni-Cad?
Lipo. 1,000 times in a row, Lipo.
Got to be Lipo.
There is nothing good about Ni-Cads at all. Not a single thing.
No, it's one thing that can stay vintage, stay in the past.
Stay in the 80s and 90s. Yeah.
Can't get a Ni-Cad. Excellent.
When the 1700 SCRC came out, that did change the game a little bit, and and it got better. But you would not go back to a time when you had to have 5 or 6 batteries that you could run once a day, and after that, it had 5 cycles. They were no good anymore, and you had to buy another 5. Like you can go racing now with 1 or 2 batteries, and they last months. No, Lipo 1,000 times in a row.
All right, so I'm going to move into the final questions for the evening, and these are directed directly at each of you. And so, Tony, you've mentioned that you're a bit of a golfer in your spare time. You like to smack the ball down the fairway a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
I don't know if you're much of a movie buff, but from who said this line from which golfing movie? Damn you people, this is golf, not a concert.
Happy Gilmore.
Good idea.
Easy.
Who said it?
Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin.
That's it. All right, Matt, you alluded a little early on about your motorsport and supercars. Do you approve of the new broadcasting team of supercars, and why?
Ooh.
As in the commentary? Oh, I mean, that's the main thing that changed. I'm going to sit right on the fence on that one. Yes and no.
No fence sitting. Why do you hate Mark Scaife? Come on, Matt.
I actually don't hate Mark Scaife. I just didn't. I actually didn't mind him as a host, but didn't. He'd run his course definitely as a commentator. He and Crompton together, there was just too many similarities. You know, they're both ex-racers. Crumpo's more the genuine broadcaster than Scaife was, but yeah, there was just too many little in-jokes and repetitive things, like Scaife just, up at Darwin, Darwin every time they go through turn one, they're fully loaded for 7 seconds, and you hear it just every 20 minutes. He whips that one out, and it's like, come on, man, some new material. They definitely needed a change, 100%. And I think P.Anda was the perfect choice, logical choice. The team they've trialled all through the year, Krause and Nolte and who's the other one?
Yeah, the other one.
Yeah, the little blondie.
Chad Nalon.
Yeah.
I didn't think Chad quite suited the role, but he's great in the pits. But I could have taken either of Krause or Nolte. I think they're both consummate professionals and did a great job. Probably might have had Nolte a little bit ahead, but they ended up going with Krause. So I don't mind that. So I like P.Anda. I like Krause. I just think they should have hung on to Crompton. He was the voice of supercars. He's the Ray Warren or the Dennis Cometti, depending which footy code you follow.
Scotty Ernst.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
The Max Walker. He was the voice,
That's
and
obscure.
they
Nobody's
shouldn't have
gonna
shipped
get that.
they shouldn't have shipped him off like that. He should have kept going and retired when he wanted to retire. That would have been the way to do that. And there was even a lot of people who thought they should have changed them both straight away, and they're like, yes, good, 2 new people in there, I think, are now realizing they probably should have hung on to Crompo and rotated some people through, or had the 3 of them. They're also putting Frosty and JC, James Courtney, in there as well, going the three commentators. That I'm not down with. I don't think they do a good enough job hyping it up, and they're there for the expert. They're recent drivers. They're for the current co-drivers. They're there for the expert side of things, but I think P.Anda covers it well enough. They don't need to be there. They're not really offering anything to the commentary, so maybe they could be in a role around the pits like Chad. But yeah, for me, it should be the two guys now, and Crompton should still be there. So sort of sitting on the fence, but I think it's still pretty definitive.
I've been really enjoying Molly Taylor as part of the team over the last couple of years. She's such an accomplished racer herself, and brings that kind of. I think she's about to have a baby, so I guess she'll have a little bit of time away. But I think she's been a good part of the team on the pit side. Yeah.
It is also funny to see all the bogans commenting on social media, not actually being able to have anything against her, because she actually knows she's a woman, and she knows what she's talking about,
and she's fast.
So that's pretty funny. Yeah. With Rihanna, they're like, oh, what does she know? What has she ever done? Now it's like, crap, she's actually good.
She's a world champion in was it the E-Buggy Offroad Extreme? That's it. Yeah. So can't get any better than that.
Can drive. Yep.
Can drive.
Yep.
Yeah.
Can drive. All right, Scott, you're the final question of the evening.
17.
Make it a good one.
Oh.
Okay, here it is. Prost, Senna, Schumacher, Vettel. Who's the best and why?
Ooh. Who won the most world championships of those 3? Schumacher, wouldn't it have been?
4.
Or Vettel?
Schumacher's ahead.
Schumacher's ahead.
Schumacher and Hamilton are the...
This is one of the things that I think about Formula One. So there's a question of who is the best driver pure driver. But to be the best in Formula One, you have to be more than just the best driver. You have to be the person that gets yourself in the right team, that molds the team around you, that, and you can't escape that. And so you look at someone like Fernando Alonso and go, is he the best driver? Well, maybe. He's an extraordinary driver, but he's also shown an extraordinary inability to get himself in the right team and build that team around him. So he's won 2 world championships, good enough, has the talent to win a stack more. So, I look at the people who have been good enough to get themselves in the good team and ruthless enough to stay there, and like it or not, and I'm not a ruthless guy, but part of being the best in Formula One is being good enough to get yourself in the good team, a good enough driver to make the most of it, and ruthless enough to make sure that you stay number one in that team, including being ruthless to your teammates, and doing whatever it takes. So from that point of view, then I would say whoever won the most world championships, so probably Schumacher out of that. Out of that lot. He did it with a couple of different teams as well. Was he ruthless? Did he step over the line? Yep, he did. But so did Senna. So has everybody that's won enough world championships and is desperate enough, hungry enough. I think it's not just about who's the best driver. It's about who is good enough to get themselves in a position to win and keep winning and fight off everyone who wants their seat. So by that measure, Schumacher.
Okay. We'll take that.
There are no short answers.
Hard to argue with, isn't it?
No,
it's easy to argue with. Like Prost is unbelievable. Like what a talent. Like it, and Senna did ridiculous things in a race car. Like,
had he not tragically died, would he have won a few more? And put it beyond doubt. Don't know.
You should rank the best F1 drivers based on their connection to RC activities. That's really what we should be talking about.
So Oscar, everyone, Oscar. Yeah.
Oscar. Well, Senna used to fly planes and drive cars, and Hamilton.
Definitely Oscar.
Grew up. Kimi Antonelli has been seen running 8th scale on-road cars this year. What's his name? French guy, drives for Haas.
Esteban
Ocon. He's a racer.
Not for long.
Which bit, the Haas or the RC?
Haas.
Is it Haas? Does he drive for Haas? Have I got that wrong? I can't remember now who he drives for.
Ocon, he drives for Haas, but not for long, I don't think. It seems like he's on the out.
Might be on the way out. So we're moving into part 2 of the podcast here, Formula One chat with Matt, Tony, DMaz and Scott.
I am more of a supercars fan than F1 fan, but it doesn't stop me talking about it.
You'll hold your own.
Yeah, don't get me started on F1. That's the other crazy thing that my mum has got into, thanks to the Netflix series. So my mum brings me multiple times a week when F1's on for all the inside. She's more into it than me. She follows the McLaren pit communication app, and know, like it's bonkers. It's so bonkers. It's great. I love it. But yeah.
Surely the best person in Formula One to follow on social media is Oscar Piastri's mum. She's unreal. Super funny. Yeah.
Yeah, these the way they portray themselves nowadays is a lot different to what it was in the earlier days, like when Schumacher was at his peak and Vettel, and how they go about, and obviously with what the new owners of Formula One, we can't really call them new because they've owned them since 2017.
Around a while. Yeah.
Have totally transformed Formula One from being the established European-based series to now a truly global series with a massive following, and broken into the biggest market of the world, America. And just what's next for them, I wonder?
Introduce some of the worst regulations in the sports history. Sorry, positives. No, they do a lot of good things right, don't they? The last
they certainly
years.
have.
So the question that begs for me, Daryl, is what would it take for someone to generate a truly global RC series? If we come back to the topic that we like, so Formula One has gone incredibly global on the back of Netflix and all of those things. There's been a few attempts at world kind of series things. The Asian Buggy Champs is a big regional series. You got the Euro Touring Series, and EOS and ETS. What will it take to get in our sport, in our hobby, to a truly world kind of global race series of whatever it might be, half a dozen races around the world.
It depends on how you're going to look at it. Are you going to want it to be purely focused on the professionals or the paid drivers, where the sponsorship gets them their ride, and they have their spot or franchise on the grid, and they travel around the world, and then you have your supporting classes of the locals racing, not necessarily with them. Unlike the ABC, where it's everybody's all amongst everybody else and you race to qualify to the race, or you make it a bigger version of the ABC and you travel to more countries, whether you do it in a split of by region and then you get the top 5 winners racing it off at the end. Maybe motocross style starts. I don't know, but whether or not you got your ABC, you got your Euro Series, you got the American Series, and you got whatever else part of the world, the South America if they do it, and the top 5 from them then meet up somewhere and they sudden death race off or something like that. I don't know. There's so many different options available to do it, because I guess generally for RC, because everybody who races can race, will want to race. So it makes it hard to go, well, if we go down the professional track, how many people are you going to turn off straight away? Is it about that, or is it about, the IFMA Worlds, that's every 2 years, where a lucky few get to go, if you've got the budget to do it. But I don't always think, and this is just my own personal opinion, as me, that the IFMA Worlds are always a great event. It's kind of stuck in a ho-hum kind of a state. It's a bit like, for me personally, I with electric racing, I hate qualifying. It was boring.
Yes.
I hate that. We, at club level, we've tried different things where you do essentially a seeded heat, and the better you go, the further up the heats you are. So you're using a point system to move up or down. So each heat you're in a different one. You're racing everybody though, even though you're in a separate heat. Whereas I find that traditional 5, you travel to an event, you've got practice day or open practice, then seeding. So you're qualifying to qualify. Then you could do qualifying, 5 rounds of qualifying with only 3 to count, and then you only get 15 minutes on the track at the end of it, and you don't bump up. Well, that's what I like about Nitro, is the bump up. Getting off topic here, I love that thing where you can keep if you're lucky enough, you can bump from your G main through to your A main.
Rock up just for finals.
Yeah, just save it all. I even think that for endurance racing, you were touching on Le Mans, how after 24 hours there's only a few seconds between them. Bathurst the same. There's a couple of tenths between first and fifth. It's like, well, just make them do a lap. Just do 1 lap. Go. First past the post wins. Kind of like horse racing.
Just do that 161 times.
So across the lap, stop, come back again and do it again.
Yeah.
That's right. Throw in a few ad breaks every time. It'll be good for the coverage. Yeah.
We're lucky here in New Zealand. We're with the channel that Supercars and Formula One on, is when the racing's on, there's no ads. It's great.
Yeah, same over here. Or with Foxtel, if you have Fox. A lot of Supercars isn't even on free-to-air anymore, but
no.
Yeah, on Fox, it's lights to flag, no ads.
Right.
That's actually the hard thing about watching NASCAR. If you ever watched NASCAR, there's so many. They've actually stopped in the broadcast that comes through on Foxtel. They're actually not switching to ads anymore. When they go to an ad break, the commentators kind of sign out and they crank up the on-track volume and stay with the broadcast, yeah. But when there's ads on, it's near unwatchable. There's so many, so many ad breaks. It's relentless.
Yeah, they literally come back from an ad to announce that they're going to another ad.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, we get that similar broadcast here for NASCAR, as when they go away, it's just the cars. Yep. It's great. But yeah, getting back to your original question there, Scott, there's so many different opportunities out there where we could grow that kind of a thing, and it's definitely worth looking at and talking to. I guess the biggest thing is the cost and how to attract the right sponsors. Unfortunately, the sponsor pool using RC is quite small.
To answer your question in a different way, Scott, what's it going to take to make it more global? I think sponsors, external sponsorship outside of the industry, someone who's willing to take a risk on something that's a little bit niche and help promote it. You know, I think the format is there. You know, you see the leagues around the world that are successful. You know, you just have to follow that sort of format. But that format isn't going to work unless there's some incentive somewhere and someone's got to pay for that, and it all comes down to sponsorship. I mean, RCGP, I think, had the idea right. You know, it's basically following that sort of format. There's a number of teams, they hire a driver, and the best in the world is crowned over a series of races. The current format for a world championship is just whoever can do their thing best on a one given track, one given weekend. And I don't know, it's pretty damn good if you can do that, but it still kind of seems a bit muted compared to, you know, being an F1 world champion, where they're literally all over the world, every track, they're the best everywhere.
I think I do think of, you know, our IFMA Worlds is our equivalent to the Olympic Games. You know, like you same thing in the Olympics. You are the Olympic gold medalist if on that day you run that 100 meters faster than the guys next to you, and that's it. And then you got to wait 4 years to have another shot at it. And I'd like the fact that, you know, in any given category, IFMA Worlds is once every 2 years, and you look at someone like Ryan Mayfield, who has been an incredible champion over so long in the 1/8 scale class, hasn't managed to put it all together to win that Olympic gold medal, that Worlds event. And I don't want to change that. I want the World Championship to stay a rare, really hard to win thing that, you know, where you do just have to get it all right on the day. But I think there's maybe room for both. And I think about the format of, so downhill mountain biking, for example, runs a World Cup series, eight or 9 races all around the world. Those races feature all the kind of elite professional riders, plus also other talented riders who qualify through their national series to kind of get to go. And then there's a qualifying, there's 2 opportunities to qualify. And if you make the top 30, then you're in the final, you're on TV, off you go. But there's also a standalone one-off world championship race that is one weekend, once a year. You get to be the world champion, you get to wear the rainbow stripes on your sleeve, and that's a kind of a race series, the World Cup, which is highly sought after, and a world championship, a one-off event that's also highly sought after. And I think there's room in RC for both. I think the IFMA Worlds every 2 years, that is incredibly hard to win, and you've got to be lucky and you've got to do it on the day. But I also would love to see, and probably not in every category, but if you said maybe touring car, 8 scale off-road, 10 scale off-road would be the 3 that, if there was a 6 or 8, maybe 6, a 6 race series that does attract the top 30 in the world to travel to those 6 races. And then other people can race in them, sure, but we know that the top 30 in the world are just better than everybody else, so they'll still be the top 30 at any one of those races. I think it'd be cool. I'd love to see both, a world championship that happens every 2 years, but also a World Series that is an annual kind of thing. But yeah, external money would help to make that possible, and a lot of cooperation and the right kind of people putting it together that can generate the cooperation from the whole industry. And that's maybe where RCGP didn't quite manage to get everyone on board.
That's definitely what held RCGP back.
Yeah.
I think we all know that, but
yeah,
can't fault JQ for going down that path and trying, but he was just
they didn't get everyone on board for whatever reason. Yeah.
But him himself, just too polarizing a figure to kind of be able to bring everyone together for the common good. And I do think he really went down the right track and had the right motivation behind it to do this and help succeed. But he's just maybe not the guy who's going to kind of get everyone on the same page and for the greater good and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah.
I think you could do a pseudo World Series, right away. You could pick 2 races in the US, 2 in Europe, and say 1 in Asia, and say, there is going to, come up with a points format. You don't have to actually organise the races, but a pseudo World Series that takes in, I don't know, call it the Dirt Nitro Challenge and one of the race time events in the US, Neo Buggy and maybe Buggy Land from Europe, and then, I don't know, Philippine Masters or one of those kind of races that
at least
not
maybe
a
bridge
sanctioned,
bridge the gap till there, and then a league could form from there a bit more organically rather than
Maybe we'll do that. Hey, maybe we'll just run our own pseudo World Series in 2027. We'll pick 5 races and put a point score up and see what happens. But you could do that in 8SCO. You could do that in touring car, a couple of ETS races, maybe snowbirds or something like that in the US and TITC. That they're pretty easy. 10 scale's a bit harder, but you could still do it. Pick 5 or 6 races that happen anyway. Put a pseudo point score together and call it the RC Race Media World Series.
Nice.
And our major presenting partner, Let's Race RC. Fill in the check. Fill in the check, mate. Send us the money.
All right. Okay, so that's kicked us over the 2-hour mark. So
Excellent.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
My whole objective was to go 2 hours and to take control away from you, Daryl. So that's
awesome.
So we're about halfway through then?
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Look at him. He's exhausted. It's like midnight in New Zealand, isn't it?
It's 10:30.
Oh, yeah.
10:30. Must be right on dinner time at your place. Is your wife's going to come crashing in a minute, going, "Why aren't you at the table?" Or why are you not doing the dishes?
Just going to hear my stomach rumbling. Feed me.
Yeah. So, look, we will say thank you very much for your time this evening, gentlemen. It's been very much appreciated. The insight to RC Race Media has been unbelievable. Hoping that people who are going to see this are going to appreciate the work that you guys put into what you're doing, bringing our hobby to the world or our sport. And we all now know that Scott likes to talk. As if we didn't know beforehand.
I am incredibly shy and introverted, and there's something that happens when there's a microphone that it just does my head in, because I can't hold up one end of a conversation in private, but give me a microphone and I won't shut up. It's weird. Very weird.
So we also, in our chat, said, Scott was saying, we're going to do this live, and he was a little bit disappointed that we weren't. Because whatever. So when we do our debrief post the NZRCA 1/10 scale EP Offroad Carpet Nationals, we'll do that on live.
Hobbywing.
Presented by Hobbywing.
Yeah.
Yep. And Frankton Models, HOT, 17RC. There's someone else I've forgotten off there. Gas and Gear. We'll do that live on Facebook. We'll do a Facebook feed. And if you gentlemen want to join us, and a couple of other people, so it'll be busy. We'll put that together, and we'll see if we can go to the full ballot of 8 hours that Facebook let us run for.
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
I think.
And in race 17, the hooter went, and no.
Yeah, pretty much. So, again, thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate you coming on the channel. And I look forward to catching up with you in person next weekend.
Yeah, can't wait, mate. Thanks for having us. And thanks for everything that you do and continue to do. And really looking forward to next week. It's going to be a blast.
Yeah, joining forces and doing some fun stuff over there.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
We love our East Australian brothers over there in Kiwi land. No, we've loved getting to know a bunch of people. Looking forward to getting to know a bunch more, and can't wait to get on the ground in Hamilton next Friday. Yeah,
it's
It's going to be good. All right. Well, safe travels on your way over next week. I won't pre-alert New Zealand Customs that you're trying to bring in armadillo eggs or something like that, or koala eggs. No, koalas don't have eggs.
Drop bears do.
Platypuses do.
Yeah, you got. Yeah. So we'll alert them that you're coming, so you just get the royal treatment on the way through.
Thank you.
Don't like the sound of that, but anyway.
And just remember, folks, all complaints about the content of tonight's show, Daryl at us, letsracerc.com. Everything is Daryl's fault. Yep.
That's not.
You're not allowed to
unusual.
edit that out.
Okay, I'll leave it in
That's
there.
why you wanted it live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate. Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you very much, guys.